If you're like me, you might be struggling with the start of new semesters. You might be anxious about your exams, new classes, meeting new professors, making new friends, and everything that kind of goes along with being a student. So in this video, I want to share my favorite tips on how I start off each new semester and how I've developed a system that has really helped me throughout the years become my best self, become a good student, and stay on top of my game. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name's Andrew, and for those of you who might not know me, I'm a doctoral psychology student at the University of Quebec in Montreal. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing how to start new semesters off on the right foot, how to time block your calendar and set up your agenda for success, how to stay organized, and finally, how to make the whole process enjoyable, and how starting new semesters off with joy and purpose will actually help you make the whole process feel more like play and less like work. But anyways, let's just start right off with getting a head start on the new semester. So generally what I like to do at the start of each semester is grab myself maybe a little bit of coffee, grab my tablet, maybe my computer, sit down and just start reviewing my syllabi and the class that I'm going to have to take. Review the professors I'm taking, maybe read up a little bit more about them, go through my class descriptions, look at the readings, what's coming up, what are the assignments, really get an idea of what's waiting for me this semester and get back into the mindset of being a student. And while I'm doing that, I've always found it useful to go back through and read some of my old lecture notes, remind myself some of the material, and really get a head start on some of the newer material that I'm going to be learning this semester. So for example, if I'm taking, let's say, Psychology 201 this semester, and I know that it's building on some of the material that I learned in Psychology 101, then I might go through some of my old 101 notes, review some of the material, and really try to understand what it is that I'm going to be learning in the new semester, and try to remember some of the past material so that I'll be ready to build on that material and learn the new stuff in this coming semester. And I've also always found it useful for me to really clean my physical environment, make sure that my desk is set up, my room is clean, and that I won't have any kind of lying around mess, anything that's cluttering my physical space. Because I found that when I was an undergraduate student, if I had a messy room or a messy physical space, or my desk was all in disarray, it would really affect my ability to sit down and study effectively and really get things done the way that I wanted to. Cleaning up my space before the semester started, it really helped me start off on the right foot and not start the semester with already a big list of things that I need to get done. And while you're sitting down to get a head start on being a student, you're gonna have to start thinking about how going back to school is going to shift around your priorities and your time management, which kind of leads me to my second tip about blocking out your calendar and making sure your agenda is perfectly set up for the start of the semester. So probably the thing that I implemented that had made the biggest difference for me as a student and helped me gain so much success and so much more control over my time and my organization has been using a technique called time blocking and planning out my ideal week. So Ali Abdaal actually talks about this a lot on his own channel and how it's made a difference for him. So you can definitely check out some of his videos, but I'll try to explain the technique a little bit here as well. So the idea of time blocking is that you take your calendar and you block out chunks of time where you're going to be doing different activities that are important and that are priorities to you in your life. So for example, blocking out chunks of time for work, blocking out chunks of time for studying, blocks of time for when you're going to be physically in school, on a date, hanging out with friends, and all these different areas of your life. And doing that really helps you gain control of your life and see where your time is going, and helps you build a schedule where you're spending time purposefully on activities you need to accomplish. And so I'm going to show you in Google Drive what my time block calendar might look like to give you an idea of how the technique works and how you can use it in your own life. Okay, so here I'm in Google Calendar and I've just selected a week at random, and what I'm showing you is actually my ideal week, or how I would like to spend my time should I have the kind of perfect scenario for a week. So what I tend to do when I block out my time is that I start with my non-negotiable priorities. So those tend to be work and school, naturally. So I start out by blocking off my working time. So I know that I'm going to be working on Monday from 8 to 4. And I also know that I'm going to be working each afternoon on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Next, I block out my chunks of time for my classes, which is on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Friday mornings. Now that you have your kind of biggest priorities out of the way, you want to time block time for side activities. That could be hobbies, personal projects, reading time, times where you're going to be studying, and that kind of thing. Here, for example, on Tuesdays, I had a bit of a freer day, so I know that I'm having a block of time where I'm going to be scripting and filming videos for my YouTube channel or for my personal website, then editing and filming in the afternoon. I believe in living a balanced life and that fitness is really important. So in my ideal week, I want to dedicate time to working out or doing some physical activities at least once a day, getting moving, getting my heart rate up. So I've blocked out 1 hour of time on every day where I can work out, whether that be running, going to the gym, rock climbing, or just doing some yoga or some stretching. I like to at least get some activity in every day. And I found that for me, at least 1 hour was the ideal block of time that I needed. Then I have these grayer blocks of time where I'm going to be spending time for dinner, for relaxing, commuting, that kind of thing. Since I'm a PhD student and I'm working, I have to have kind of these double shift type of days. And so I spend, for example, Monday nights working on my thesis. Then I've got these study blocks on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays with some research blocks thrown in there as well. And so by setting up my ideal week like this, I get kind of a zoomed out view of my entire week and what it'll look like. So if, for example, a friend reaches out to me and says, hey, are you available on Wednesday afternoon? I'll be able to quickly say, no, sorry, I'm at work on Wednesdays afternoons. Or likewise, if they want to see me Tuesday mornings, I'll know that that's generally when I film or I script a video, so I shouldn't probably accept any additional engagements during those times. Now, your ideal week might look different than this. You might not have any working blocks. You might want to prioritize different hobbies that you have, going skiing, playing golf, whatever it may be, maybe even blocks to hang out with your friends. The idea is that anything that is a priority in your own life, that you want to have a fixed time where you're going to be concentrating solely on that activity, put it into your ideal week, and it'll give you a very zoomed out and kind of macro review of where you're spending your time and how you can use your time more effectively. Now, a lot of people that I talk to and some of my friends find this technique to be too limiting, and the argument that they give me is often that they don't want to live their life based on an agenda or have like a calendar tell them when they can and can't do certain things. And that's true, and I get it, but at least for me, I found that having a system in place has actually helped me leverage my time and use it more purposefully, so that I actually have more free time at the end of my week, so that I can spend more time with my girlfriend, so that I can spend more time on hobbies and things like that. And if ever you're in a situation where there's something you really want to get to in your life, a hobby or anything like that, that's a priority for you and that really helps keep you sane, keep you happy, and keep you motivated, then add that time block to your ideal week. Find a time in your week to dedicate to that activity. It doesn't mean that the ideal calendar has to only be on the boring priorities of life or anything like that. The idea is that you use it so that you're actually spending your time in a way that is important to you, whatever that might be. So I really encourage you to at least give this a try and see if it can actually work for you and help you kind of steamroll your process of getting more organized and more purposeful with your own time as a student, especially when you're starting a new semester. And now I use Google Calendar to plan my ideal week just because I find it easy to use. It syncs with all my devices and it works for me. But feel free to use a handwritten agenda if that works easier for you. Use Apple Calendar, use any type of system you want, but just find a way to plan your ideal week and see how that goes for you. The next thing I do before the start of a new semester is actually organize my digital life so that I have things set up and properly organized before the start of my first class. And so here the important thing is that you actually have an organization system in place. Now you're free to use what you want. You can use the native file structure of your PC. You can use Google Drive, Apple Drive, or iCloud, or any system that works for you. I tend to use Notion because it works well for me. Now if you're not familiar with Notion, there's tons of videos online about what it is, but it's an app essentially that helps you organize notes, tasks, and projects, and in a way that's seamless and that syncs with all your devices, so it works very well for me. So now what I do normally in Notion is that I have a spreadsheet style set up of all the classes I'm going to be taking throughout my PhD degree before I graduate, and then I have different classes for the current semester. So in this case, it's my fall 2023. You'll see that I'm registered for these classes. And if we were to open these classes, you'll see that I've actually set up my class in a template style so that I know where I'm going to be keeping my notes, my projects, my class reading, and everything is organized in a way that I know where everything is going to be stored at the start of each semester. So the reason I use Notion is because I can create templates that help automate a lot of the work for me. So whenever there's a new semester that I need to add a class to my system, I can, for example, just click this new class button and it automatically adds a class within my system. And I've created this class template. We'll actually have dedicated areas within this class for any notes that I want to add for projects and for class readings, as well as any class information that I find is relevant, so a class description and anything else that I want to add. I found that Notion has been probably the best app I found to manage my notes, my tasks, my projects, and everything that has anything to do with my PhD or my YouTube channel and all those great things. So if you're interested in the exact system that I use in Notion to plan my PhD, organize my classes, my semesters, and all of that good stuff, I've developed an absolutely free Notion template that you can download down below, where it's going to reproduce the exact system within your own Notion to really help you organize your classes, your notes, your tasks, and all of that good stuff, just in a way that's going to help you streamline this entire process without all the headache and all the hours building the system yourself. Now you don't have to use anything like Notion. You can use something as simple as Google Drive. So here I'm in my own Google Drive, and the idea is you need to set up at least something where you're going to be able to find your documents easily and systematically. So for me, for example, I've set up this PhD folder, and if you click into my PhD, you'll get folders for each different semester that I've taken in the past or the current semester. So again, this is going to be fall 2023 coming in, And if you open fall 2023, I've got these different folders for the classes that I'm taking. And within these classes, I can store documents that I need, such as the syllabus, class projects that I'm going to be working on with others, and so forth. Develop a system that works for you, but make sure that you set up your file structure, your organization system before the start of the semester. You don't want to start a semester and be overwhelmed by having all this new information come in, having these assignments come in and bombard you with, and then have to also think of your organization system on top of that. Make sure that you get things done before, and you're going to be thanking me, trust me, when the start of the semester hits and you're lacking organization, so you just end up dumping folders, dumping projects on your desktops, everything's cluttered, you don't know where to find things, and it's just an entire mess, and that's what ends up making you fall behind. At least when I was an undergraduate student, this would happen to me a lot. I'd start a new semester, I wouldn't have an organization system that was in place that I actually liked or that worked for me. So I'd end up saving things onto my desktop, sometimes in documents, sometimes in folders, and it was very difficult for me to find different files when I needed them, and things got lost very quickly and it was overwhelming. And on top of having to study, on top of preparing for exams, having to stay organized in this objective mess was a nightmare. Alright, so once you've gotten your minds right, once you've gotten your organization and your calendar set up and all of that other good stuff, my last tip for you is going to be to actually enjoy the process. Find ways of making starting a new semester more enjoyable for you, whether that be connecting with your friends, talking to colleagues, color coding your notes, making things look pretty, whatever floats your boat. Find ways to add little touches of enjoyment to the entire process, because as Ali Abdaal has said previously, when there's joy, productivity will take care of itself. You don't have to struggle if you're enjoying what you're doing. If you're having trouble starting off a new semester, getting organized, find ways of making it more enjoyable for you. If you're one that really likes colors, like I've mentioned, find ways of color coding your documents in a way that looks pretty and that is fun for you. If you're very sociable, find ways of connecting with your peers while you're starting off the new semester on the right foot. Get a study group going before the semester starts to review your notes, to review your documents. Find those little things that will make the process feel a little bit more like play and a little bit less like work, because that's where you're really going to flourish and you're really going to have a lot of fun starting off your semester. And that's really what being a student is all about. Yes, it's about learning. Yes, it's about being organized. It's about development. It's about all that good stuff. But it's also about having fun and enjoying the process while you're there, because that's where you're going to find your purpose. So anyways, those were my tips for you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. So consider leaving a comment down below about any tips you might have about starting a new semester, or things that have helped you and how your undergraduate might be going, and anything else you'd like to share. I love reading your comments. And if you liked this video and you found it useful, consider liking and subscribing down below. It would really help me out. And just don't forget to keep having fun and keep enjoying the process of being a student. It doesn't last forever. Make the most of it while you can. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great semester, and I'll catch you guys in the next videos. Cheers!